Now what I got to do is figure out exactly where all of my switches and dials are going to go so that I can figure out how exactly I'm going to route those things. So what I do know is that there's going to be a light probably behind the fan right beside the TV area to light up more of the feet area. Then I'm going to put one like right here to light up the rest of the cab. And if I lay down, I want to be able to just up and hit the power button, right? So that means that everything else needs to be right in this area here. So that means that I need to run the power wires at least to that point. However, there's a little bit of a trick here because I want to be able to have most of the wiring actually connected to that black piece that goes up, which means that the wires actually only need to go to like the center of this. That way it gives me enough slack that I can disconnect and reconnect whenever needed. Alright, so as you guys can see here, I have marked out all of the joists on one side. On the front side of the joist I marked. So all of the joists are actually on this side of the line, you know, the same line that the staples are on. However, when I marked it out on the black piece of plastic, I ended up doing it on the opposite side somehow. So this is actually the second one of these that I have, because the first one's holes are completely in the wrong spot. I'm going to go ahead and plug in this little heater inside the truck here. I'm going to put some plastic over that door so that maybe this inside interior will warm up just a little bit, just enough that, you know, I'm not really super cold. Alright, now that we got that going, I got the fan going and it's already kicking out some nice warm air here. I need to run 3 wires from the galley area to here, and then from here forward. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and run some wires from there to right about here where the console goes, and I'll run one that goes all the way to the front of the galley where there's going to be one 12-volt plug for charging my cell phone and that kind of thing. Temporarily, that piece that goes in here for the fan, I'm actually dropping that down from the top so that I can reroute these wires to make sure that they're actually going to fit. Alright, so this might be a little bit of a problem. So as it turns out, I probably should have made the square for that a little bit wider because this does cover off quite a bit. And I made it exactly the 14 by 14 hole. So now I got to figure out how I'm going to fix that to be able to run these wires. Alright, so as you guys can see, what I did is I actually brought those wires to the outside of the board here. I drilled a couple of holes in and ran the wires through there. Then I nailed them into place to hold so that they would continue down. So I should be able to get all of the thinner wires where I was originally going to route these ones. Those ones shouldn't be any problem because it's thinner wire. There's more of them, but they can all pretty much lay flat. So I'm going to go ahead and cover this back up with the insulation and keep moving on with running the wire. This is very repetitive, so I'm just going to get back with you guys once I got all these run. I have 4 wires running to the front of the fan hole. So one is going to be for the power outlet that will be in the front of the trailer. One is for the interior lights, and one is for the exterior lights. And then I do end up having an extra one sitting here. So that can go for whatever I may want to run up front later on, but that doesn't mean that it'll be powered to anything. It's just there so that if I decide to add something in the future, I can go ahead and do so easily. Now you might be wondering why they are so short. Well, that would be because I want this piece, along with all the electronics on it, to be removable. The reason? Well, if I need to get up into here to rerun something or change out the lights or the switches or whatever, I can just remove this very easily and do so. So all of these are going to be getting put onto little plugs like this. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't find any that was the positive and negative all in one, so I will be having to do each and every one of these ends with a separate plug. I also reran the exterior door light, so that's what this loop here is. Alright, so now that I've got this taken care of, as I am working on the panel, which I'll get to here in a second, I can take them off of here, lay them out, tape them down onto the panel so that they're not messy, and hook them up properly. Now, what's all going on this panel? Well, there's actually two panels. There's the panel that goes on the back side here to cover that up, which is just one single light. And then there is this panel, which is going to have an extra piece of this over it, just to drop it down a little bit more, give it a little bit more rigidity. And that is going to be one touch switch, which is a dimmer switch as well. And it will have two rocker panel type switches on it, one for each side of the trailer. That way I don't have to have them both running and light up both doors if I don't want to. I can just run the main door that I'm currently using. And I think that's going to work out really nicely. And one thing that I thought of when I accidentally ran that fourth wire is that I can use that probably for the exterior light that will like shine down on the ground outside of the trailer whenever that time comes to put those on. So I'm happy with this so far. I think that it's coming out great. With this little heater in here, I think I'll be able to work on the panels no matter pretty much what temperature it is. I may end up having to put a plastic bag in this other door though, just to keep the heat confined to this area. But the next thing that is on the list is to get this panel done, or at least completely laid out and wired.